President Emerson Mnangagwa has proclaimed that by-elections to fill 133 vacant local government and parliamentary seats would be held on 26 March 2022. Pinula News presents Statutory Instrument, SI, 2 of 2022 which contains the proclamation. Statutory Instrument 2 of 2022. Constitution. Proclamation 1 of 2022. Proclamation by His Excellency Emerson Mnangagwa, G. CZM, President of Zimbabwe and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces of Zimbabwe. Whereas, in terms of Section 129, 1K, and Section 159 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe, as read with Section 39, 1, of the Electoral Act, the seats of members of Parliament for Pumula, Nkulumane, Epworth, Glenora, Harare Central, Highfield Fast, Highfield West, Kuwadzana Fast, Kuwadzana, Mufocus, St. Mary's, Glenview North, Kambuzuma, Harare Fast, Dangamvura Kanga, Mutasa South, Marandera Central, Marandera East, Muriwa South, Chivi South, Mwenezi East, Binga North, Chilacho South, Mkoba, Kwekwa, Mbizo, Mbarangwa South and Gakwa Central have become vacant by reason of members of the National Assembly having ceased to belong to a political party which they were members when elected to the National Assembly by reason of the death of the members of the and whereas it is provided by Section 39, 2, of the Electoral Act Chapter 2 131, that after the President has been notified in terms of the said section of vacancies in the membership of National Assembly, he shall issue a proclamation ordering a new election to fill the vacancies in the same manner, mutatis mutandis, as is provided in Section 38 of the said Act in regard to a general election. And whereas the Speaker of Parliament has notified me in writing of vacancies in the National Assembly due to the recall of the following members of the National Assembly who ceased to belong to a political party which they were members when elected to the National Assembly: Sechelasil Malangu Pumula, Kukaka Fulunkulumane, Earthridge Kariva Epworth, Wellington Chilombo Glenora, Murices Wizwai Harare Central, Eric Murai Highfield East, Happy Morchid Ziva Highfield West, Chalton Huen Kuwadzana East, Susan Mitsunga Mufocus, Unganidi Tarasenga St. Mary's, Willias Madzimir Kambuzuma, Laxton Tendai Bidi Harare East, Chapfika Mutseami Dangam Vuracha Kanka, Regite Sunga Mutasa South, Kastan Moedu Marandera Central, Killer Zivu Chivi South, Prince Dubeko Sabenda Binga North. And whereas the Speaker of Parliament has notified me in writing of vacancies in the National Assembly due to the death of the following members of Parliament: Miriam Mashei Kuwadzana, Kennedy Dinar Glenview North, Patrick Chadakwa Marandera East, Joel Biggie Matiza Muriwa South, Jupsi Omar Mwenezi East, Sabanda Zenzo Chilacho South, Masango Matambanadzo Kwek Wendalum Pofum Barengwa South. And whereas the Speaker of Parliament has notified me that a vacancy exists in the membership of the National Assembly for Gakwa Central constituency following the appointment of Victor Matemadanda to the position of Ambassador to the Republic of Mozambique. Now, therefore, under and by virtue of the powers vested in the President as aforesaid, I do, by this proclamation, A. Order new elections for the aforementioned constituencies, and B. Fix Wednesday the 26th day of January 2022 as the date on which the nomination courts shall sit, commencing at 10 o'clock in the morning, at I. The Magistrates Court, Court 5, Trejold Building, Leopold Takoira Avenue, Bulawayo, for the purpose of receiving nominations of candidates for election as members of the National Assembly constituencies situated in the province of Bulawayo, and I. The Magistrates Court, Trejold Building, Leopold Takoira Avenue, Bulawayo, for the purpose of receiving nominations of candidates for election as members of the National Assembly constituencies for Pumula, Nkulumane, Binga North and Chilacho South, and E. The Magistrates Court, Abdul Gamal Nasser Road, Rotten Row, Harare, for the purpose of receiving nominations of candidates for election of members of the National Assembly constituencies for Epworth, Glen Norah, Harare Central, Highfield East, Highfield West, Kuwadzana East, Kuwadzana, Mufacus, St. Mary's, Glenview North, Kambuzuma and Harare East, and if the Magistrates Court, 102-4, Main Street, Muter, for the purpose of receiving nominations of candidates for election as members of the National Candidates Tour election as members of the National Assembly constituencies for Dangambura-Chikanga and Mutasa South, and the Magistrates Court, Ruzawi Road, Marandera, for the purpose of receiving nominations of candidates for election as members of the National Assembly constituencies for Marandera Central, Marandera East and Muriwa South, and by the Magistrates Court, corner Robert Mugabe Street and Jason Moyo Avenue, Mlesvingo, for the purpose of receiving nominations of candidates for election as members of the National Assembly constituencies for Chivi South and Mwinizi by the Magistrates Court, Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, Main Street, Gweru, for the purpose of receiving nominations of candidates for election as members of the National Assembly constituencies for Mkoba, Kwekwa, Mbizo, Barangwa South and Gakwa Central, and c. Fix Saturday the 26th day of March, 2022, as the day on which a poll shall be taken, if a poll becomes necessary in terms of Section 46, 17, c. of the Electoral Act Chapter 213. Given under my hand and the public seal of Zimbabwe at Harare, this 24th day of December, in the year of our Lord 2021.